our faith as the resurrection. And there's an event coming, a day coming linked to tabernacles that's as much a part of our faith as the crucifixion. And so the interesting thing is now in the latter days, with Israel back, the church, more and more of the church are beginning to not only discover, but to celebrate the autumn feast. All around the world, you can hear shofars again in churches, in houses of worship, of churches. All around the world, there are Feast of Tabernacle celebrations. I've seen it from Brazil to Africa, all around the world. And that's a sign, I believe, that we are closer. We are living in the days leading up to that coming. The cycle of the lion. And this touches, it will reveal this lion, this latter feast mystery will reveal things to us in every realm. First thing to unlock, to see the message to us. Everything about the first coming was linked to the Lamb. So everything about the second coming is going to be linked to the Lion. The first coming took place in the earthly realm. It was a divine event, but happened in the realm of history, politics, culture, Roman Empire, temple priesthood, everything. And yet it was all drawn into the cosmic mystery of the Lamb. So what does it reveal? The second coming will also involve everything. History, culture, politics, nations, media, technology, everything, yet it will all be drawn into the mystery of the Lion. End time culture. I mean, look at what is happening. Even the way it's heading, even immorality, apostasy, even the dishonoring of God in his own house and churches that are in apostasy, perversity, all is coming to a head to the day of the Lion. Note the parable that Messiah gave of the man who left his house in the hands of others. And they dishonored that house. And that's when he comes back. You know, a lamb comes to be sacrificed, but a lion comes to subdue. If everything were Christian at the end of the age, you wouldn't need Messiah to come as a lion. So don't be discouraged when you see what's happening in the world. They are not on the throne. God is on the throne. He is the Lion. So the scenario of the end times is not supposed to be pretty. When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? First, a great apostasy. In the end times, men will be lovers of self. Does that sound familiar? He will make war against the saints. In the time of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, nor will it be left to another people. It will crush all kingdoms and bring them to an end, but it itself will endure forever. This is the meaning of the vision of the rock cut out of a mountain, Daniel. But not by human hands, a rock that broke the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold. So when you see evil increase, the Bible says it. There's nothing wrong with your television set. It says lawlessness shall increase, and the love of many shall grow cold. It's a sign of the end times, and it's a day that these are the days of the Lion, the days of a fight. Remember, you serve the Lion. You serve the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Israel. Where did the feast take place? Where are the feasts to be celebrated according to the Bible? In Israel and in Jerusalem. So notice what happened. So where did all these things, where did the first prophetic big events of the age take place? Israel, Jerusalem. Where did the crucifixion take place? Jerusalem. Where did the resurrection? Jerusalem. Where did the Pentecost? Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is the city of the appointed times of God. So it means that there are going to be all these events we're talking about are going to happen focused on Israel and Jerusalem and the Jewish people, because the Jewish people have to be part, because they were part. They have to keep the feasts. So they will come as the end comes. They were the nation ordained to keep Passover, first fruits, and Pentecost. So that's why it happened among Jewish believers. But in the end, they're coming back to celebrate trumpets, Yom Kippur, and tabernacles, and the days of the Lion. So according to the mystery, there has to be an Israel in the world again. Most of the age, it was considered an impossibility, not only by the world, but even by the church. They said, God is finished. It's not going to happen. We got to take it spiritually when he talks about bringing back his people. That's just us. Forget about the Jewish people coming back. It's never going to happen. And yet in 1948, against all the odds of history, all the laws of history, Israel came back just as God said they would. For the autumn holy days. You see, even with Israel, it's like you got, look at, this is a deep mystery because you've got the times when Israel would be in Jerusalem celebrating the feast in spring. Then they leave Jerusalem, go out into the fields, and then they come back in the autumn to Jerusalem. Well, it's like the age. You had at the beginning, you got in Israel, you got Jerusalem, you got the Jewish people. Then it disappears and you've got a harvest all around the world. And this God's moving all around the world. But then at the end, they got to come back to Jerusalem and Israel just like they come back in the autumn. For the holy days of God, it must be kept in the place that God ordained, the place of his name. So you have Israel, 1948, but you got to have Jerusalem. You got to have Jerusalem. So therefore, the prophecy said it, and so therefore, in 1967, and this was linked to one of the mysteries of the Shemitah called the mystery of the seventh Shemitah, happens at this amazing time. War begins, the drum beats of war begin in the Middle East. The nations surrounding Israel threaten to destroy it, wipe it out, drive it into the sea. They mass soldiers all over. They demand the United Nations remove its peacekeeping force. The United Nations obliges them. And then Israel, seeing what looks like the end, strikes to save its life. 6 days. The 6-day war, a miraculous war. Because 6 days, David defeats Goliath. Miraculously. So much so. And then for the first time in 2,000 years, Jewish soldiers enter the gates of the biblical city of Jerusalem. They approach the Temple Mount and they sound the shofar. The first thing, shofar. It's interesting because the next prophetic date is going to be, the date is shofar. Last one was Pentecost. Next thing on the agenda calendar is shofar. It's the Feast of Trumpets. And the first thing they do is sound the trumpet. But not only that, what gate did they enter to fulfill the prophecy to restore Jerusalem? The Lion's Gate. Jerusalem was being ready for the day of the lion. The appointed days of God, the coming of the lion. Each